I was going to do ASCII dots for the video after false, but then I realized that all of the esoteric programming languages that I have talked about in this series have one-letter commands. So let's do something different. Forte was created by a user of the ESOLane wiki who goes by the name AIS523. Its syntax is quite similar to BASIC. Forte has 6 commands. Well, 7 if you count Rab, which precedes a comment, but I don't since it does literally nothing. Each line begins with a line number. What follows is a single command. If you want more than one command to be on the line, you separate them with colons. This simple program prints hello world to the screen. What's so weird about this? It looks pretty normal so far. The let command allows you to assign a variable. You will realize very quickly that you cannot assign names to any variables, so you need to redefine an integer. Basically, if you say let 32 equal 8, and then say print 32, you will get an 8. Furthermore, if you have a line number that is 32, that line will be treated like line 8. So in this code, we set 32 to 8 on line 5, and since 8 is the next lowest number, it runs that line first instead of line 10. Line 20 ends the program, and since 32 itself is larger than 20, if we don't redefine 32 as meaning something lower than 20, line 32 won't run at all. If we redefine 32 as meaning something lower than 5, it won't run line 32 either, since you would have already passed it. Okay then, this is really abnormal. So, could you return 32 to its original value by subtracting 3 from 35 or something? No, you couldn't. 32 now is 8, and it would be like taking a number line, scribbling out 32 from the 32nd space, and writing go to 8 in its place. Meaning if you subtract 4 from 36 to get 32, which is actually 8, and then add 4, you will get 12. Forte is called Forte because it messes up the piano axioms. First, they state that 0 is a natural number. Next, they state that natural numbers have successors that come after them. And 0 is a successor to nothing because negatives aren't considered natural numbers. Also, if two numbers have the same successor, then they must be the same thing. And if you have a set that contains 0, its successor, that number's successor, and so on, you will have a set with all the natural numbers. Forte screws this up by allowing you to set, say, 3 to 0, which means that 0 is now a successor to something. You could also set 5 to 0 as well, meaning that two numbers now have the same successor but aren't the same number. Lastly, the set no longer contains a 5 or a 3, meaning that it doesn't contain all the natural numbers. It also gets stuck in a loop. So basically, this programming language's name is a pun. Yep, now it's time to actually use Forte to make a program. Specifically, 99 bottles of beer. Starting on line 100, we do what we are used to. We print our number of beers, followed by bottles of beer on the wall. And then we do it a second time, but remove the on the wall because, well, that's just the way the songwriter wanted it to be. At the start of the program, 99's value is literally 99. After line 100, we go to line 200. Since Forte has no way to create a for loop or a while loop, we need to reassign 100 and 200 to higher values so they have the opportunity to run again. Since line numbers follow the same rules as constants that aren't actually very constant anymore. We subtract 1 from 99, so now 99 is equal to 98, and then we finish up the lyrics. On line 588, which is a line between where 2 bottles ends and 1 bottles begins, we print the lyrics, but remove the S from bottles. I'm not doing what I did in the Velato episode and allowing 1 bottles of beer to slide. Next, 100 and 200 are set to ridiculously high values so they won't be run again. Also, on line 600, we print the ending of the song that is on the 99bottlesofbeer.net website. You print 99 right here. How do you do that if 99 is now set to the value of 2? That's a string, creaturey. Oh. The next thing I made was a calculator that you could perform 4 operations in. The reassigning values of constants gimmick could be dealt with in practice by reassigning really large numbers that you would probably never use or care about anyway. The difficult part of making this program was checking what operation you actually wanted to do. The first thing you need to note is that there are 2 ways to get input, the input command and the get command. Input takes in input as a number and reassigns the constant following it to the input. Get does the same thing, but reassigns the constant to a character. Not its ASCII value, but the actual character. And there is nothing you can do with this character, so get is useless. Because of this, I made it so that after you type the 2 inputs of the math equation you want to solve, you type 1 to add, 2 to subtract, 3 to multiply, or 4 to divide. The difficult part of writing this program was checking what type of operation you wanted to do based on a number. There is a line for each of the different operations, and the program is halted after performing each operation. If you type a 1, you want 10-10 to be executed first. If you type a 2, you want 10-12 to be executed first, and so on. It took me a while to figure out how to do this. At first, I just tried random equations. That didn't work. Wow, I wasn't expecting that to not work. I mean, it's such a foolproof plan. The way I eventually got this to work was by using a quadratic equation. Since we have an input as 1111, which I will now call x because 1111 is both too long to say and it's also a number, and we have an output of 1010 aka y, we can put it onto a graph. This equation here will create a parabola on the graph. Well, it'll be put farther up. It's also vertically stretched. Since we have 4 equations which could be used as functions, we have 4 parabolas. One of them is the lowest at the input of 1 or less, one is the lowest at the input of 2, one is the lowest at the input of 3, and one is the lowest at the input of 4 or more. Because Forte always runs the next lowest line of code after your current line of code, the line of code corresponding to the parabola with the lowest point at any given input is run first. And also last, as the program ends after performing that operation. Also, the reason we add 200 is because 200 is well above the rest of the program's line numbers, and Forte programs never go backwards, only forwards. If you, 1, actually understand how Forte works somehow, and 2, want to use it for some reason, there's a link to Yaaaaay.run in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you whenever I make another video, which may be a while from now, I don't know.